So the nation is feeling the effects of extreme weather on both coasts now. Torrential rain hammering Vermont, widespread flooding, stranding vehicles, leaving a lot of roads shut down. That same weather system now targeting the northeast as well. Flood watches in effect for more than 45 million people across 11 states. Then in the West, a lot of states there still grappling with dangerous heat. At least 7 cities saw record high temps on Thursday. The worst of the heat will expand this weekend, stretching from the Southwest into the Rockies. Also, millions of people across Houston are still without power. That happened just days after Hurricane Beryl hit that area. The outages leaving the city paralyzed and even putting a lot of strain on the hospitals. Our extreme weather team has it all covered for us. Let's start once again with Liliana Pearson of our ABC station there in Houston. Liliana, how bad is the situation there now, and any idea of when power will finally get restored?
It's definitely been a really tough couple of days since Beryl hit 4 days ago, and it's no surprise why. You go anywhere across Houston, you're going to see messes just like this. You're going to see transformers, power poles, entire lines down on roads, down on sidewalks. This is why the day of the storm, we saw over 2 million people without power. Now, 4 days later, we're still seeing just under 900,000 people without power. And with this being Southeast Texas this time of year, things are hot, things are humid. When you don't have power in your home, things go from being uncomfortable to dangerous. Because of that, we've seen CenterPoint Energy bringing in linemen from a dozen different states. They're rushing to try to bring this power back to people. They're also deploying mobile generators to things like water treatment facilities, senior centers, cooling centers, places where they're trying to protect infrastructure and they're trying to protect people. On top of all that, today, it has been raining on and off, bringing back some of that temporary flooding we're seeing to the area, slowing down those linemen that are trying to bring that power back. Certainly very frustrating after a long start of the year where we've seen several intense weather events so far. CenterPoint telling us today that they expect to continue work through the beginning of next week. Back to you.
All right. Thanks so much, Liliana. Let's go to our meteorologist now, Dan Amarante. You are tracking all the dangerous heat, also the storms with the flooding rain. What do we know?
Yeah, we know that they still do have a heat advisory in Houston in effect until this evening. Those heat index values going up above 100 to 103 degrees. So just a terrible situation there. And we have heavy rain across parts of the East Coast. As we mentioned, that flood watch in effect for several states up and down the East Coast, going from South Carolina all the way up into Massachusetts. The heavy rain pretty much focused right over the Carolinas at the moment. And North Carolina has 88% of the state in drought, some form of drought. So they do kind of need this rain, but you don't want it all at once. Now, here's a setup here. We have this tropical moisture, and while this is not a tropical system, it still is bringing those heavy downpours like a tropical system would. And it's all because of this high pressure system way out to the east here. It's essentially causing this front to get stuck on the East Coast. It just can't really move to the east. The high is saying, no, not so fast. So it is slowly going to be migrating to the east. But in the meantime, we do still have those heavy downpours to expect as we go on through the evening into the overnight hours. Rainfall rates of 2 to 4 inches per hour. We've already seen some of that verify across parts of the East Coast. Meanwhile, the West Coast, just all about the hot stuff. Triple digits all across the West Coast. Heat advisories, excessive heat warnings in effect. And this will be moving to the east as we head through the next few days. By early next week, many cities along the I-95 corridor could be having those feels-like temperatures into the triple digits yet again. Back to you, Kara.
All right. Dan, thanks. Liliana, appreciate your coverage as well.